it's not for everyone. And yeah, it's definitely like, I don't know. I feel like in general, like the idea of like more sizzle than steak is how she feels about it. I don't know if I agree with that, but yeah.
Yeah, musicals can all be a little bit overdone, in my opinion. They're fantastic and they're good fun, but you have to really just let everything go, you know?
In
But
general,
yeah.
I like
So
musicals.
what's that?
In general, I really like musicals. Like I've been watching like Wonka and Matilda with my kids for like the last year or something like that. And so I love musicals, but like specifically Hamilton, I'm like, I don't know if I'd watch it as many times as I've watched Wonka.
How many times have you seen Wonka?
Honestly, I've probably seen it bare minimum 20 times. Like definitely
Wow.
in excess of that. Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
I
Nice
mean,
work.
kids don't have a lot of choice in terms of television. Like they only get they don't have unlimited choice or anything. So,
And how
they
many
end
times
up.
have you seen One Piece?
I mean, the entire thing from back to front, it's like maybe once or twice. I don't think I've seen it like I've definitely seen it once the entire way through, but then they just added more episodes. I mean, it's over 1,000 episodes, right? Like it's like I think it's like at like 1,300 episodes right now.
Mm-hmm.
So that's
That
a
is
lot of
quite the
downtime.
accomplishment in itself.
Yeah.
And the fact that you managed to get any work done while doing that, I mean,
So
kudos.
there was a time when I was on a co-op. I had broken my leg, so I couldn't walk, and I was just like kind of like in this coding sweatshop. And so I would just watch One Piece continually while I was coding.
Okay.
And it was not like difficult work or anything. Like it was just like monkey work before we had AI. So
Right. Yeah. Before that job was taken over.
yeah. Anyways, I guess we can get started. I was hoping Winverse would be here now, but he is not. So I started record on Craig, and we'll see how we go from here. But welcome to our weekly All Hands for November 26th, 2025. It's our weekly All Team Tactical. We're going to use this time to sync up on the work that we're doing in the B Foundation, eliminate brokers, and prioritize our work for the next week. In case you forgot what we do, we help purpose-driven communities use Web3 tooling to generate revenue and engagement. I changed our lag metrics a little bit, but I do have a discussion item around our metrics, so maybe we can talk about it. I added so we have 942 transaction volume, and we have 52,020 USDC in our vault. And so I added this to I didn't add it to blackflightcollective.org. It's not released to production yet, but I do have this on my local machine. So it's just gathering this from the blockchain. So exactly like we were kind of discussing, hey, are there metrics that we can easily gather from the blockchain? Well, here's one of them. This is how much we have in our vault. And so I put this at the top here because it's relatively easy for me to get now, as long as I'm running the site, and hopefully I'll deploy it by this time next week. So it'll just always be there. So that's kind of the hope. And then on the lead metric side, don't know how many weekly transacting users we have. I don't think Tom was able to add that yet. I checked this morning, and it does show active users, but it doesn't show how many weekly transacting users we have. And we have one new user. I stopped putting down the number of communities because we're not actively trying to get communities right now, although that will probably change once we get the kind of like release of our B pages out that could actually be used for a community other than just Black Flag Collective. So we can start to track that as we wish. Team-wide announcements, don't forget to use what did you ship. So for instance, Phil, I know you did some work on the bug related to voting. Yeah. So
Yes.
as long as you ship something, even if it's internally, just drop a little note in what did you ship so we can ensure that we're compensating you. And same with you, Richard. I know that you also did some work related to just making sure everyone gets compensated based on the what did you ship. So make sure that you put that into what did you ship as well.
Okay, so even if it's not finished, we can just like if it's ongoing work, we can put it in there.
Yeah, if it's ongoing work and like let's say you did like a couple of commits and you push it up to GitHub, that counts.
Okay, great.
Let's say you did a design or you did something and you just shared it in Discord, then that's good enough. It's
Okay.
just whatever you ship at any kind of state of shipping. So even if it's like, oh, it's not ready, but I did some commits, that's totally fine.
Perfect. Sounds good.
And we do have some standard bounties. I'm not going to read them again because I don't think anyone's working on these standard bounties. But yes, that's where we're at right now. On the milestone perspective, I'm trying to get this ready for potentially having other projects here. So instead of looking at it as a milestone perspective, we may look at this as a project perspective. But so what I have here is the BCard app, B Pages, and B Foundation. On the BCard app, our kind of goal right now is maintenance mode. We're really just doing like bug fixes and ensuring that it kind of works. And so on the support side, I do need to push the BCard app to prod. I'm going to knock on wood today, hopefully. I have a couple of other things on my list, but hopefully I can get it out to prod today. And this will have Phil's bug fix in it, so that will be useful. And then Phil's also working on the voting bug. How's this going, Phil?
I know what I have to do now because we had that product meeting yesterday, but haven't pushed anything yet. So, but I'm a lot clearer on where we're going with this.
Sweet. All right. Update to the backend and admin dashboard. Well, Tom's on vacation, so we're going to leave that for this week. On the B Pages side, getting to first launch. So I did update the UI UX for deposit. Actually, I may as well just share it with you right now so that you guys can see it. And let me just pop open my email client so I can review it here. 473-429. All right. So, oh yeah, and it refreshes once you log in. So we kind of have you can see you have your total vault deposits, and you can see you have $1 deposited, $1 available deposit. The idea is you should just press this once. It's depositing. You can see that there's like a little timer here. I'm trying to track down a bug, which is why you see this one approval instead of just approval. This should also show a timer, but it's not right now. And so you can see at the top, it kind of has the goal. We're depositing $1. This is kind of like the status. What are we doing right now? And this is kind of like the path that we need to get to. I would say that like all of this stuff, I'm putting it in there right now because I would say that it's not super reliable right now. And we just want to give a little bit of extra information. And then so there, it all disappears, deposit successful. Now you have $2 deposited, $0 available to deposit and withdraw. Same with these technical details here. So, like right now, I need gas to run this transaction. I need the wallet address to send it gas, to send it USDC. In an ideal case, we wouldn't have any of this stuff. The user wouldn't need to know any of these technical details. We would still provide it in some place, but probably not on the widget. Of course, here's a little bug. Balance check interval is not defined. Same bug that you saw yesterday, Phil, when we were kind of showing it. But yeah, this is why it's not ready for release yet. It's because there's a ton of bugs. But as you can see, like Tom's basic outline kind of works. You can deposit, you can withdraw, and so you can see it does kind of the same thing, sending withdraw transaction. In this case, there's no approval. So boom, now you have your $1 available to deposit and $1 deposited. And so in general, kind of works, but it's not as user-friendly as it needs to be for production with all of these kind of like little bugs. And at first it was bugging me, but now I'm just like, oh, this is actually an opportunity for me to learn a lot more about how blockchain interactions can and should be handled. And so that's what I'll be doing. It is going to take a little bit more deep dive. You can see already here, like stuff is like, why did it try to withdraw again, right? Like there's some issues here. So I need to get into it. It's going to be a deep dive. This is not an AI. This is not an AI just do it for me kind of bug. But yeah, any feedback on that whole kind of flow? Feel free to drop me any feedback you like at any time. But yeah, sorry, do you have
Looks
something to say,
great.
Phil?
I love the Uniswap colors. Really fits into Web3.
Yeah, so it's funny because one of the things I had on here is that I want to make these buttons accord more with the brand that one of our other contributors created. So this is pretty close what Tom has to the brand, but it's not quite there. And I have these other buttons which are like, let's say, not on brand. So so like you see, this is a button here. So I'm gonna, before I release this to production as well, I'm gonna make all of these buttons accord, and I will certainly take inspiration from Tom's colors that he used, which I think he's getting some of it from the brand, but I think I'll probably switch the withdraw and deposit colors because deposit is the primary and withdraw is the secondary. And then as well, I kind of want to like update this login button and the submit vote button so they're all using the kind of same component. But yeah, I agree. I like those colors. Any other feedback?
Yeah, I think this is a great step in the right direction, and it's all sort of widgetized as well. So looking great.
Sweet. All right. And again, like this intent, which I explained to Phil, and I kind of said it before, but I'm going to say it again, is the idea that like we will then have a platform that we can start to build widgets on. So Phil, as you are thinking about like, hey, I kind of want a website that will make it really easy for people to donate to homeless people, but I need like a card widget or I need like something like that. Well, you can easily build a card widget, and then once you build it, everyone can use it. And same, and a thinker, you may be like, oh, I want a widget which tracks a thing that is not being tracked right now. You can work with me or someone else to build that widget and then use it for a community that you're part of. And in doing so, we now have this kind of like shared platform, which hopefully anyone can contribute to and anyone can use. So that's kind of the idea behind this. So yeah, on the UI UX side, as I said, I'm going to harmonize the button colors, and then I'm going to work on the exceptions. And I really just need to like carve out like, honestly, probably like 2 days to go through it. I think like the way that Tom coded it is just like he got it done, and it's like this kind of like mega function. I kind of want to like split that up into smaller functions, and it's just really going to take me some work. So we shall see. All right. And then on the B Foundation side, establish a case study and presence. That's kind of our goal right now. And so our case study is Black Flag Collective. So that's the site that we're working on right now. The vote, I lied, it's not quite completed actually. There's another, if you look on here, there's another 3 hours left to vote. So if you haven't voted, please do. And then I'm going to as well book events on Luma for the next 2 months for myself. So I will be having 3 events in the next 2 months in Toronto. So if you find yourself in Toronto, please come out. And working on our own community. Well, Richard, any updates on a blog post on our system?
I was away from this. No.
Okay.
I have not made progress, but
I noticed you mentioned something about the splits UI. Is that something you want to share?
yeah. So I did notice, I guess, like in addition to the change on Discord, like splits looks like they changed some of the way they were displaying the send transactions and the multi-sends. And it looks like what they're probably doing is making it so that it makes sense for people using stables, which kind of makes sense for most use cases too, for I guess what they're trying to build. But it's a little bit, it kind of changed the way, like, because we're distributing the Black Flag tokens, so it's that don't have like there's like 0 value on them. So it was like it used to show like how many tokens were going in each direction, like when you look just at the UI, but now it's sort of, it just shows like a $0 amount because there's no value on the tokens.
Yeah.
So it's like something that it's probably was done like to benefit other use cases, but it, kind of made it a little less clear for our use case, which I guess is the way things work.
Well, I think we should just talk to them about it. I'm sure they can figure out some way to do it because, as well, we're whitelisting this token in our instance, right? And so I feel like whitelisted token. It's not like they're looking at any token possible, right? Like it's really like, hey, these are whitelisted tokens that we're using, that we like put in. I feel like there's probably something they can do. Yeah. So.
Or have like some kind of maybe like a toggle or something somewhere if you're doing.
Yeah, so I haven't looked at it yet, but like let's just pop it open right now and see. But so you're saying contributor rewards here. If I look at this, like, do you want to direct me to the like you're talking about right here?
Yeah, well, yeah. Like it's small on my screen right now, but like What do you? Okay,
like I can
you
see
see what did you click?
token amounts.
Okay, what did you?
So there's 2 spots here. One is on the dashboard, and this I found is slightly different, which is weird. But yeah, even if I hover on 4 recipients, it still shows it. And then I prefer to go into the contributor rewards section, and then I feel like I get a little bit more space here, but you can see, so it's sending $0, which is correct, $0 US of Black Flag token.
And yeah, that's weird though, because I don't really recall seeing the quantities exactly the same way on mine. Let me find if I got the.
Okay. Well, maybe later you can share your screen. Oh wait, show small
Yeah.
inflows. Maybe it's this little toggle. No, that's not it. But yeah, maybe you can share your screen with me in the future, and we can take a look at this.
Okay.
Another thing that now that I'm here, and it's not something that we need to figure out right away, and I think we do have like some money in the treasury that we could just be putting into, like, that we could just be earning interest on that we aren't. We don't have to use splits to do that, right? Like we could do that on Aave or something like that. But is that something you want to do? I don't think we're using a lot of our stables or ETH right now. So I wondered if it was okay to throw it into Aave. What do you think about that, NF Thinker?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. Sorry, I had a guy show up at the door and I just had to have a quick chat with him about a thing about a tree. So I totally lost you there. He said, "What do you think about that?" And a thinker, and all I heard was Aave.
Oh yeah, we just have some stables and some ETH in our treasury that could be earning interest and isn't, and we don't really have any plans to use it right now. So I'm kind of like, hey, maybe we should just toss it up on Aave.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's not a bad idea. Yeah, I guess maybe if you want to, what are the immediate risks on that, and like, what are the returns, etc. And then,
Yeah,
see if we can.
I mean, we could talk about it, but like, I mean, Aave is the lowest amount of yield right now. So 2.72, but it's also like the least risk as far as I can tell, right? So yeah, so like this is the base market. So you're getting 2.72 on your thing here, and if we did it here on the Ethereum market, you can see that it's even. I mean, it's 3.96 on Ethereum, and there's more being borrowed, but yeah. So we also have a bunch of optimism. I don't think, yeah. So there's OP. Oh yeah, that's
And
like
OP is
zero.
not doing so great right now.
Yep. Anyways,
Yeah.
maybe something to think about. We could be earning yield. I mean, it's not a lot though. Like if you're looking at like our USDC, I don't think we don't have like a ton. We have like maybe like between 5,000, let's say roughly 5,000, but we could be getting 2.72 over 3 years, right? Like it's been in there for like 2 years now. We haven't really used it, so
Yeah.
it's not insignificant, I guess, in that case.
Well, we could have been earning on that already. So yeah, I mean, as long as it's, once these huge liquidations happen, is Aave susceptible to one of these gigantic liquidations? Potentially, I don't know, but it seems like a safe enough bet. So yeah, I guess you have to hedge.
Yeah.
New monetary systems and whatnot. It's when you put that much cash out, that's a lot of our runway, because optimism OP token seems to just be tanking and tanking. Maybe it'll have a comeback, but that was a lot of our runway. So yeah, I don't know. And then also, how much ETH do we have while we're here?
I don't know. We could pop open the. It's funny. We haven't really been looking at the treasury because we haven't been spending money. But let me just pop open our.
Left it
So
there on hold.
Okay, so we have 1.6 ETH on base, and I think we have more on mainnet. We have we have like about 2 on mainnet, 2 ETH on mainnet, and then we have some USDC and DAI on mainnet as well, and then finally on OP, we still have 20,000 OP on Optimism, which is like worth like roughly 2 ETH right now.
Okay.
Hmm.
Yeah. Well, I guess we'll see what OP does. We were pretty bullish on it, and I'm surprised that it has dropped as far as it has, especially with base on the rise, because base is part of the optimistic ecosystem. So yeah, I just
But it was being recorded, so it's maybe not. If I was Optimism, I wouldn't trust base as far as I could throw them. So
ooh, shots fired.
Yeah, but I mean,
Mm.
it's okay if people hear that from me. I'm not like a base builder or whatever.
So
We shall see. Okay, cool. So I guess we'll talk about it later, but that was just kind of came up on the splits UI. Maybe tomorrow at our ops meeting, Arcusty, I can see if it like what's going on with yours because I feel like I can see what I need to see here. But yeah,
okay.
You mean Friday?
yeah, on Friday. Sorry, did I not say
Yeah,
Friday?
because you said tomorrow. Tomorrow. That's
You are correct.
and it's our Thanksgiving here. So
Oh, so I mean, should we even meet on Friday if it's your Thanksgiving?
Friday's fine. It should be fine.
Okay,
And
fine.
and maybe I can show you the split screen because see a little bit. I see something a little different on my screen for some reason on
Okay,
splits. I see the token contract, and maybe it's a setting on my side, but we can talk about it on Friday.
cool. Sounds
I,
good. All right. So, updating community metrics. Well, I mean, I kind of shared how we have this one new community metric here. This is like, I would say about half of the total amount that we have because we also have WETH in this pool as well. So we have another $65,000 worth of WETH, and that has dropped drastically over the last month or two. So it used to be a lot more, but it is what it is. So, but these are exactly the kind of community metrics that we might have and that we might be able to put here to make it easier. All right, so getting into our task perspective, there's not much here on the task perspective I think that we haven't already talked about. We may as well keep it updated. Community pages milestone 1, it's really just the deposit and withdraw widget. This homepage doesn't seem to refresh on mobile. I think it's the bug is fixed, but I just want to double check before I mark that off. Admin dashboard refactor. Last we had, he's going to add some additional data. I don't think he's done that yet, or at least he hasn't done a release for that yet. The inactivity fee features. This is something that Tom wanted to test out with some cron jobs. I don't know if he talked to you about it at all, NF Thinker.
No, maybe he reached out. I might have missed the mention.
Yeah, he's on vacation for a week right now, so I'm just guessing
Okay.
at some of this stuff. But yeah, he wanted to create some ways to send automated emails. And so like he was gonna test some ways and then he was gonna reach out to you. So we'll wait for that. Snapshot poll didn't work for a user. I know that you're actively working on this, Phil, and we already talked about it. Users can't see the full source of funds. I actually looked into what is available, and it's only a couple more. It's only a couple more characters. Anyways, I think that on the latest release, it actually has the full source of funds, which is not. It's not much more, but it is there. So I kind of fixed that already. Hopefully, anyways, I'll double check it after I do the prod release. And then the endowment fund, well, I'm going to worry about this a little bit later, but the intent is to make it easier to use some of these things. I really need to reprioritize this actually. Submitted our 2025 taxes. How's this going, Arcusty?
well, I guess it's all like preliminary work, but I haven't done much on it.
Okay.
But the idea to have it there is to like have everything pretty much in good shape to go as soon as it's time to start filing.
Yeah, I think it makes sense. And we already talked about the article. All right. What did we ship last week? I don't know if you guys added anything to the what did you ship channel since we did it, but we can also note your contributions here. So I remerged Tom's branch for deposit into the B Pages website for 2.5 hours. That's 2.5K BCard. I also held the all hand. That's 2K BCard. Held the product weekly. That's 500 BCard. And then I updated the UI UX of the deposit widget. That's 250 BCard. And then finally, Drost released the All Hands on YouTube 2K BCard. Richard, do you want to write down what you put?
Yeah,
Much
well, yeah. I did the week 47 contributor rewards. I'll just put 15 minutes. So,
right.
yeah, okay. So just
And Phil, did you do any ship work in the last week?
No, I haven't shipped anything.
Okay.
So next week, I did put some time on stuff, but I'll put it all on next week when I actually commit something.
Sounds good. All right. So I have some discussion items, some crypto news. And if Thinker enjoyed the crypto news the last couple times we had it. So I thought I'd throw some up there if you guys want to talk about it. So BTC, so Bitcoin and Ethereum continue to slide via forced liquidations, balance sheet shore-ups from TradFi, and just broader risk-off macroeconomic concerns. Seems like there's a lot of uncertainty in the world right now. Sometimes that's good for crypto. Right now, it does not seem to be very good for crypto, especially with as much TradFi liquidity into crypto as we have. A lot of people are moving to more safe bets, and so we see those numbers kind of continue to fall. And so I think like Bitcoin fell something like 20% in the month of November, which is massive, but it's also like not crazy if you're in crypto.
Seen it before.
Yeah, I've seen it before too. And you know what? Like,
Yeah.
I think like in some cases it's a buying opportunity, right? But like, I don't know about you guys, but I bought at negative 10% and now it's at negative 20. And I'm like, damn it.
Yeah, same here. I was like,
Yeah.
wow, 100K, that has to be the floor.
And
Yeah.
how wrong were you? So,
Well,
yeah,
20% wrong.
yeah, I saw a guy post about how happy he was to get ETH for under $1,000 at the last dip. And now I'm wondering, is it going to go back? Who knows? I don't know.
Yeah,
I feel
three-digit
like 3-digit ETH. Yeah. Yeah. Back to
It's
777.
it's weird. Like I kind of just said that it was like TradFi. That's it means that there's less like if TradFi is really affecting it this much, it can't just be TradFi, right? Like it has to be individual people too. But it means that money's coming out of the crypto ecosystem and going into what? Because the US dollar is actually doing really badly right now too. Is it going into other foreign currencies? Is it going into investment? Is it going into gold? I don't know. Any thoughts
Is
on
it
that?
going into private chains?
It could be going into private chains. Actually, that's a really good segue into the next point there. There's a crypto robbery in San Francisco. Someone dressed up as a delivery driver and forced someone at gunpoint to give them $11 million worth of crypto. And so this is a wrench attack. Basically, the more you accumulate in crypto, the more, let's say, attractive you become for one of these wrench attacks. And these wrench attacks are really just like, okay, for all of your private keys and X and Y and Z, with a $10 wrench, people can extract all of that from you. So this is, I would say, a real concern for the crypto industry, especially Ethereum, which, I mean, it's not just Ethereum, but Ethereum has like a lot of, it's all public, right? And so they're trying to bring privacy to the chain, but I think like privacy is going to be a massive concern moving forward, especially if we see more wealth inequality, which will create more, let's say, incentive for crime, which will create more targets on the back for more crypto people. So
I
I would
mean,
say,
this is where private holdings really do make a difference. Yeah, you bring up wealth inequality, and it's crazy to think how different the life of people who are in the top 1%, let alone the top 0.1%, have it to all the rest of the world. Nobody knows. I've had the luck, or I guess, or the opportunity to go and see some of the like the top tier people. I was just talking to my daughter the other day about this guy's whose house I went to, and he had like, beachfront property in Marbella, big, beautiful house. He was just a pilot, and he had, a picture with Richard Branson, and he's kind of like touching, and just his house alone was enough it was jaw dropping. It was incredible. And people don't know, like, they don't understand what it is to live with a maid and have like 10 bedrooms in your house and all this stuff. So wealth inequality is there, and it's always going to be there. And this is why you can't trust communism, because somebody's always going to cheat the system. But with private transactions, I don't necessarily see us, as in the crypto ecosystem, as increasing wealth inequality. It's going to exist no matter what. But what we are doing is giving people the chance to not show everything they have. Like, you might know that somebody's a millionaire now, but you can't see what's in their bank account, and everything's kind of hidden and masked. Is it compliant? To a degree, yeah, most of it probably is. Some of it's kind of shady and dodgy, and then there's some really dodgy stuff. And it's going to be the same with crypto. Chains like Aleph Zero allow for privacy. mass transactions, and you can see that a transaction was made between two wallets. You don't know what it is or what their balances were, but those people have KYC'd, and transactions can be decrypted with the keys. So if you are sanctioned, you can prove that whatever you did was legal. And so, there's answers to all of that. But the wrench attack itself, hopefully that will help with that if we can mask holdings and mass transactions without like breaking compliance laws.
I actually think that it's something that we've talked about in the past, which is like the user experience of crypto and TradFi. If you're going to use crypto like a financial tool, people expect it to act like TradFi. People expect the experience to be similar to TradFi. And I actually see private transactions as a kind of like TradFi approach to like these wrench attacks, right? So like if people are scared that they're going to get robbed, having private transactions is this is like a solution to that. This is like kind of like how we ensure that we don't get robbed in TradFi. But also there's another way that we don't get robbed in that, there are custodians and no one person can take the money out and all these other kinds of things, right? There are clawback mechanisms and all these other kinds of things. I actually think one of the quote unquote real solutions, or like one of the more decentralized solutions, is just like better UI UX around like guarding your stack. Like, hey, if someone comes into my house with a wrench, they can hurt me, but I actually can't get the crypto out, right? Like I can't do that by myself. I can't do that by myself with my computer here. I have to go do something else. I need to implicate someone else. I need to go to a different location for me to be able to do these things, right? Like I think that is something that does not yet exist. And I think that is a longer term solution. So you're still able to have like non-custodial funds, and you kind of decide how you want to safeguard those funds. But right now, there's so many ways to do it that it's not easy for like a regular Joe Schmo to figure that out, right? Like there is a missing piece between DeFi and TradFi, which I think most people you could do it. You could have better OPSEC. You could have better ways to ensure that you can't just give that money out. And I think that the UI UX, there's a huge gap between that and TradFi for specifically safeguarding your funds right now. I think I just killed the room.
Yeah, sorry, I meant to jump in there. Multi-sigs definitely are a good way forward. Yeah, what can we say except be safe out there, folks?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, like multi-sigs, and then also like if you have stuff like stake it or whatever, where somewhere where it requires a cooldown period. So it's like not, I mean, it limits yourself, but it also limits yourself to exposure if the people know that it's going to take like 20 days or whatever before you can actually access the funds.
Yep.
They're not going to hold you at gunpoint for 20 days for the cooldown period. But so there's like mechanisms like that. But I think it's like, so because there was all this stuff about like Tornado Cash and stuff like that. But there's a definite use case for mixers and like moving stuff around anonymously to protect yourself from crime. So I mean, I don't know if ironic's the right word, but like, there's tools that, they think that, well, this is like facilitates crime, but the same tools or whatever, like, protect you from being a victim of crime.
Yeah. Like
and you don't really, you don't see that side of, or, in the US, the way that they were going after stuff, that side of it, like of the story, like did not get talked about a lot.
Yeah. There's that famous saying, like, if you outlaw guns, only outlaws will have guns, right? And so like if you outlaw privacy, only crime people will have privacy, I guess. So it's a double-edged sword with all of these things. And I think like often, like, whenever something like a big bill comes into Parliament or Congress or wherever you live, that's related to privacy or really to stripping down privacy, they're always talking about the criminals, the child pornographers, the money launderers, all these kinds of things. But what they're really doing is, I mean, not really doing, but what they're doing is essentially stripping away our privacy because of these bad actors. And yeah, I think it's not good to have bad actors in the world, but it's also not good to have a world that has no privacy either. Right. There's also a major kerfuffle on Farcaster last night, which I think was worth talking about. So Dan posted like Dan, the DWR, the founder of Farcaster, posted a CA, he posted something saying CA and then like an ETH address. And people just started aping into this thing. And here, let's take a look at it here. So this is what he posted. Okay. So
why?
Right? Why would you do this? And then when you click on it, it actually, especially if you're on mobile, it basically says hey, buy this token, essentially, right? So he posted this. It was someone created a clanker based upon this. So when you click on this is a clanker for someone else, a bunch of people put in money and just lost a ton of money, I guess, right? And so there was a huge kerfuffle about this because people were just like, what the fuck, Dan? Why would you post a contract address? And he's just like, what do you mean? Why would you buy it? And so that is the kind of let's say discourse that was on. Yeah, I mean, yes, people shouldn't have bought it. I didn't buy it when I saw it. I saw it within within an hour of him posting it, I saw it and I was just like, okay. And so but I'm also not building a social network that is built around trading, right? So yeah. Anyways, thoughts initially?
Was the token did it exist already, or someone was able to deploy a token with that exact address?
No one deployed a token with this address. In fact, this address doesn't lead to anything.
People just deposited money there?
No, yeah, so what they did was someone, after he posted that contract address, so this leads to, I don't know, something. There's something here, I don't know what, but not much, right? And it all happened in the last 17 hours. So after someone did something, people started sending money in. But so the contract address is this is essentially what he posted, CA and a contract address. Someone created a clanker, which is a token, named this.
Clever.
Named this with his picture on it. And so if you click on it, and there's nowhere on the page does it show that it's not that. So there's another thing here where he's basically people are like, what the fuck, man? What's wrong with you? And so yeah, it's
large accounts, huh? They can really move things.
Well, it was just so, I guess, okay, shit happens. You're testing something. You post CA and something. Obviously, people are going to ape into it, right? It seems obvious to me. I don't know. That just seems like normal behavior. But is that what others think? Is that normal?
Yeah. Well, we've seen it so many times. It's normalized CT behavior now. Someone posts a CA, if it's a big account, people ape in.
Exactly. And so yeah, I think it's irresponsible, but whatever. Yeah, do your diligence. But the thing that really got me was he just doubled down on why did you he's basically saying why did you buy it then? And it's just dude, you don't have to post that. Sorry, go ahead, Dennis Thinker.
It's a good social experiment. I'm surprised it only did 425K in volume. I mean, whoever clanked it is seeing a lot of that volume, that trade volume. They're getting that straight to a wallet, so good for them. But sucks to get scammed like that on a token. You see the token, the chart just goes straight up and straight down. So I don't know how they got around that sniping fee. There's this limiter on clankers, right? That keeps people from buying in the first X amount of time. So maybe they waited until that had expired and then it jumped up. But either way, there was a huge spike. And when I got a notification about it, it was an hour in. So I checked it and it had already peaked, and I was like, no thanks. And from where I bought it, from where I checked it yesterday, didn't buy it, it went up maybe double, if that, and now it's right back down to where I had checked it out. So if I'd have bought it yesterday and held it, I would be no better off.
Yeah.
So, you know, like sometimes you get stung, sometimes you buy it at the tippy top. Tokens are crazy. They just, I did get scammed on a token a couple of weeks ago. There was this group, I thought it was a different group. It was when this whole X402 came out. Yeah, I ended up sending somebody to a contract thinking, this is what I'm meant to be. Like I'm part of this whole sort of meta that nobody else understands. And lo and behold, I was the one who was getting scammed. It wasn't my money. It was just like a token amount. But I was like, oh shit, okay. Got me once.
Yep.
So look, and it's like a recurring scam. They just like keep changing the name of the X account, and I've reported it, and they got a Telegram group and stuff. So, scammers all out there. Scammers be out there scamming.
Yeah. So, like, I guess the question is, did Dan do anything wrong? And, like, I guess, like, okay, I think it's distasteful for someone to post a contract address and just, like, be like, ha, you aped into it, idiot, right? Like, I think that's distasteful, but not
Very
technically,
distasteful.
quote unquote, wrong. But the thing that I was just like, what are you doing is when he was just, like, arguing with people about it. I just thought it was like, you're building an app for traders, just take the feedback. I don't know. That's how I feel, at least. But any other thoughts on that?
Just gonna say, what happened to do your own research? Used to hear that all the time, but now people don't seem to even bother with it. Or
Yeah, it's true. Well, I guess so first of all, I agree. I mean, I actually kind of wrote a post about it yesterday. I'll read it real quick. Are you a chump or a jerk? The space is filled with both. Chumps come in groups and they think that things are true simply because they wish them so. You might be a chump if you think you own any part of Farcaster or that Base is going to airdrop you a token that will give you ownership of the network. And then jerks take advantage of chumps. They're experts in saying non-committal things that lead chumps to believe the cool thing, trademark, for their own ends. For instance, a jerk might allude to you owning a network or airdropping a token simply to get you to use the network. They always have the moral high ground in their mind because A, they didn't technically lie, and B, they are maximizing shareholder value. But the thing is, jerks need chumps more than chumps need jerks. So if you're unhappy with the amount of jerks in the space, stop being such a chump. It's tough, right? Because like a lot of the people who are around in crypto right now in this bear market, again, I feel like we had the blip of a bull market and now we're back into a bear market. But it's typically people who live in places where if you're making $5 a day on crypto, that's enough, right? Like that's okay, right? So in some ways, I think like you have a lot of people who are willing to ape in and basically make generational wealth, which is much smaller than it might be for someone living in North America. So I think like it's like very distasteful to take advantage of those kinds of people. I'm calling them chumps here, but really like, like why wouldn't they? It makes perfect sense for them not to do their own research and just ape in when you can do a ton of research on something and the only thing that matters for price is whether other people buy.
Well said.
So yeah, do your own research. I feel like is not a thing anymore. If anything, crypto kind of exposed to me how much of stock trading is based on sentiment too, right? Like you can be a value investor like Warren Buffett, and he makes crazy returns, but the people who a lot of people talk about is like those people who make those like big hits or whatever, right? Like the people who you see aren't doing that kind of like boring value investing. They're kind of doing something different. Anyways, 5 minutes left. Any other crypto news you guys want to talk about?
Well, I took on a
know,
payroll with a company. Oh, sorry, Phil.
yeah, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Cut you off there. Yeah,
That's fine.
I took on a paid role with a company who's in the privacy space. And some of you may know the person who runs it, Rene, used to go by the name Saltherin, I think, in Bankless DAO. And she works with some other cryptographers. And they have a product that's going to go live. They've been bootstrapped and they've got money to spend. So hopefully I'm going to help them get to market in the privacy space. So I'll be a bit more active around here because of that as well.
Way to be.
Nice. Congrats.
If you want some oh, sorry, go ahead, Phil.
I was just thinking about, we were talking about the inequality, like money inequality earlier on in the conversation. It made me think of that article that made the rounds on CT this week by Mike Green. The whole thing about the level of income, that's the limit for like subsistence, and he recalculates it in a different way. And it really made the rounds. It's a really good take on like what kind of income level are acceptable to just make it. It's very US based, but I think it applies to a lot of things we're seeing in the economy, or the way it's kind of difficult to come up in the world and make a living these days. So it made me think of that earlier on, and I took a while to
I read that article too.
Yeah.
It was, if you haven't read it, you really should. And basically he said like the way that we calculate like living below the poverty line, or whatever that poverty line is, based upon this like 1967 calculation, which took the amount of food an average American spent, the amount of money an average American spent on food in a year and multiplied it by 3. And so this was, hey, you spend about a third of your money on food. And his argument is basically, well, that's not true anymore. There are Americans who spend 5 to 7% of their money on food, and there are other things that cost more. And the big things were housing, healthcare, and childcare. And his big thing was basically saying like, well, the official poverty line statistic is $30,000, but that's basically for starvation now. So if you make $30,000, you're not starving. You could be on the streets. You could have no one to care for your kids. You could have no health care. And he's saying like, if you wanted to have all of the kind of like enough money to live, to eat, and to have kids, for an average family, for the poverty line is now $140,000, which is very sobering if you think about it. And so I really recommend this to everyone. And he also, sorry, go ahead, and I think I see that you.
Well, I was just going to say, they're doing a really good job at keeping inflation under check. So, hey, we got that right.
Yeah, I didn't see this article. Like I found it there. It's like, the $140,000 one. But I saw something else though, just like one of those short. I think it was on like YouTube Shorts or whatever. But somebody was just doing a reality check on like the thing about the boomers versus millennials, and like how boomers said that they had a hard time in the past. And it basically just went through like the standard budget and showed that like even 30 years ago, or no, like in 1990 or something, like people still were like, if you put your regular expenses down, they were still like a couple $100 short. So it goes like, sure, they had a tough time, but then they like went through like the expenses now for a millennial with 2 kids, and it's like, well, now you're like $3,000 short on what you take in, less taxes versus what it supposedly costs to do stuff. So like, and you just kind of wonder like, how does anybody like get by if you're
I think a lot of people aren't getting by.
Yeah, you're $3,000 in the hole every month. That adds up, and I mean that's, I guess, like another way of looking at that $140,000 as the poverty line. Like I seriously wonder like how people like get by earning, like where I am, have high minimum wage, but it's like, it's still like, I can't see how you can even afford like food or anything.
Yeah, I don't really get it either.
Much less like rent.
It feels like it's all borrowed time. Like a lot of people are doing it, getting into debt, right? Which is again another form of borrowed time. It just feels like my wife was doing the same calculus, because she was just like, I don't understand how all the parents in our school can afford this and that and this and that. And she's like, I don't get how they afford it. And like our conclusion is like many of them just don't afford it, and they're just going into debt and maybe even spiraling further into debt because of interest rates right now.
There was a commercial like a while ago about like, it showed like some suburban dad or whatever on his riding lawnmower. It's like, so and so has 2 cars, so and so has a 4-bedroom house. I don't remember exactly how it goes or whatever. And then the last thing was like, so and so is more than, or up to their eyeballs in debt.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, that's how they're doing it, because they're just completely in
Well,
debt.
depression is also real, guys. So
Yeah.
if you're not feeling great, make sure you go and speak to a specialist, because even though times are tough, we all can live on this earth rent free. So let's enjoy it while we got it. Hey. And yeah, I mean, it is horrible what's happened to the money system. Like people kind of act surprised that these things are happening, but it's kind of designed to do that. I guess it's the Titanic of money systems, you might say. And for those of you who've studied Titanic conspiracy theories, might know where I'm going with that one. But yeah, who knows? Maybe there is money leaving this system, this financial system as we know it, Links, as you were saying earlier. And it could be flowing into private chains. It could be flowing into other forms of economic value that may even be fully private and hidden from the rest of the world. Who knows? Maybe we're creating a way to shut us all out. And hopefully that's not the case. Hopefully it brings more of a utopia rather than an Orwellian state. But all we can do is hope for the best and build things as we want them.
Yeah, exactly. And that's something I want to leave you with, right? Like when you look at late stage capitalism, the idea is that the purpose of capitalism is to accumulate capital. And in essence, right now, what we're talking about, I mean, in the last 10, 20, 30 years, we've seen a massive transfer of capital from the masses to the centralized few. You could say that it's corporate capture, you could say that it's billionaire capture, whatever it is. We have seen like a massive transfer of wealth over the last 30 years from the many to the few. And so we've seen a centralization. And so that's exactly what we are here to change. We are building tools to help create more bottom up economic activity. And make no mistake, you cannot eat money. You cannot eat money no matter what chain it's on, no matter how private it is. You can't eat money. You can't hold money. I mean, I guess you can hold money, but it doesn't really hold you back. And money can't necessarily make you feel any better than you feel right now. But a lot of the value in humanity exists at the bottom up. Spending time with friends, growing your own food, building something that you can share with others in your neighborhood. These are the things, these are the kind of economic activities that centralized structures would like to either control or have you ignore. And so when we build the things that we're building here, what we're aiming to do is encourage that kind of bottom up economic activity. That is what is going to allow us to change the system back in the favor of the many. And so I thank you all for being here, because it's not something we can do alone. We can only do it together. And the more that we accomplish together, the more that we can do in the future. So thank you all for being here. I really appreciate it.
Cheers,
Thank
everybody.
you.
Thanks, Links.
See you next time.
Okay.
All right. Bye. Whoop.